My dear friends, happy to meet you again on this second Lent Sunday. I suppose you are all doing well. On this Sunday, we hear two readings, especially the reading from the book of Genesis and the reading from the Gospel of St. Mark, the similar thought, my dear friends. Both happenings are on the mountain. Especially in the book of Genesis, we hear that Abraham is giving a sacrifice, or at least he is willing to give a sacrifice. And on the mountain of Tabor, Jesus is saying that he will give himself as sacrifice. In both the cases, my dear friends, we hear about the human sacrifice. Human sacrifice. Maybe for our own ears it is very odd to hear that today we cannot think about human sacrifice. In many religions we give sacrifice of a lamb or other animals and so on, but in these two readings we hear that human sacrifice is the main point. Is it really so, my dear friends, that today there is no human sacrifice? Just we take the wars which we had and have. We had 2 world wars, or we had many other wars between the nations. Even today there are some wars. In all the wars, one thing is very prominent, my dear friends, that motherland or fatherland, that land has to be kept. For that, many people have to give their own lives as sacrifice. Many politicians speak about the pride of our motherland. My dear friends, all these things are also showing that human sacrifice is also today. Today also many people are killed just for the sake of nations, just for the sake of patriotism, just for the sake of politics, just for the sake of the willfulness of some people, my dear friends. Even today, so many people are being killed just for unnecessary ways, my dear friends. Let us leave out this message now. Now we'll come to the message in the Bible. In the book of Genesis, we hear that Abraham is about to give the human sacrifice of his own son Isaac. I shall read for you from the book of Genesis chapter 22. God put Abraham to the test. Abraham, Abraham, he called. Here am I, he replied. Take your son, God said, your only child Isaac, whom you love, and go to the land of Moriah. There you shall offer him as a burnt offering on a mountain I will point out to you. When they arrived at the place of God had pointed out to him, Abraham built an altar there and arranged the wood. Then he bound his son Isaac and put him on the altar on top of the wood. Abraham stretched out his hand and seized the knife to kill his son. But the angel of the Lord called to him from heaven, Abraham, Abraham. He said, I am here. He replied, do not raise your hand against the boy. The angel said, do not harm him, for now I know you fear God. You have not refused me your son, your only son. Then, looking up, Abraham saw a ram caught by its horns in a bush. Abraham took the ram and offered it as a burnt offering in the place of his son. My dear friends, here we see that Abraham is willing to sacrifice his own son. Here we have to remember that Abraham got Isaac very late in his age. He was actually not having a son or a child. And in the last time of his life, he is getting Isaac. That means he was a very precious son for Abraham. And this Isaac has to be now sacrificed. Can God ask this? Okay, my dear friends, now God is asking Abraham to give Isaac as a sacrifice. Here we can really understand what is important for Abraham. For Abraham, God is very important. Although he received Isaac in the last time of his life as the biggest gift, he is willing to give him up just God has asked him. Here we can see that even in this stage, my dear friends, God is more important than Isaac. This is the message which I am getting, my dear friends. That God is everything for Abraham. He has seen that God will do everything for him. That is why after this, God is giving a promise that Abraham will have so many generations after him. Exactly the similar way we see, my dear friends, that Jesus is going with Peter, James and John to the mountain of Tabor, and there he is having the transfiguration, and these three disciples are overwhelmed to see Jesus. At the end of this transfiguration, Jesus is saying, the Son of Man will be delivered and he will be killed. Here also we see, my dear friends, there is a human sacrifice. Jesus is willing to give his life up for the will of his Father. Father is everything for him. That is why he doesn't worry about his own life. Abraham and Jesus both have only one thing in their mind, namely God, Father. This is a message which I am getting, my dear friends. Although I have my own plans, my own fears, my own problems in my life, but if I take God in the first place, if I focus the will of God in the first place, then God will guide me. This is a message which I want to also give you, my dear friends, that God is everything for us. God can bring us. Maybe sometimes we don't understand what God wants, but at the same time, we can really believe, like Abraham, like Jesus, that life will go ahead. God will give many folds if we are giving ourselves, if we are obeying to God, my dear friends. So let us think about it in this coming week, that we really give God the first place in our life, in our decisions, in all our undertakings. Then God will take care of us. I wish you all the best and have a very good Lent. Bye-bye.